Hi, I'm Christina, and this is a book review on The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. So, this is his second novel. It was published this year. I read his debut novel, The Silent Patient, last year, and I very much enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I have a separate book review video on that one, just in case you'd like to hear my thoughts on it. So, I was very much looking forward to reading this book. It was one of my most anticipated releases of the whole year. And I will just start by saying I didn't like this book very much. So our main character is called Mariana. She is a 36-year-old woman who is a group therapist, and she is currently grieving for her husband Sebastian, who died just over a year ago. She has a niece called Zoe, who is studying English at Cambridge University, and Zoe is like a daughter to her. They are the only 2 people left in their family. And then one night, Zoe rings her in a panic from university. Her best friend, Tara, is missing, and the body of a woman has just been found dead. So Mariana makes the trip back to Cambridge University, where she herself studied and when she first met her husband, so she can be with Zoe the next morning. Once Mariana arrives at Cambridge University, we are thrown into a world of academia, where there is a charming professor who teaches Greek mythology, who has his own dedicated group of students, comprising only beautiful women who call themselves the Maidens. So I will just say I did not predict the twists, I did not predict the ending, and I didn't identify the killer either. So it definitely did surprise me, and it was a very readable book. I read it in just 2 days, which is very quick for me, so I absolutely flew through reading this one, but it just wasn't enough to save this book for me. So I'm going to rate it 2 stars, and I will tell you why. So for me, this story is just ridiculously unbelievable, and it's quite silly at times, and it just wasn't my cup of tea at all. Mariana as a main character is very, very dull, and I think she strikes me as incredibly one-dimensional. In fact, every single character in this book is one-dimensional. There isn't a single character in here that feels like a real person to me. And then, as a main character, she makes a series of stupid, ridiculous decisions in order to further the plot. So, for one example, why would she go for dinner with a man that she believes to be a violent murderer? And this is a private dinner in his rooms, and she doesn't tell anyone where she is going or who she is meeting. And that's just frankly absurd. Who would make that decision? Who would go to dinner with a man that you think is a murderer? And I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Mariana compromises the active police investigation countless times. She takes items that she believes to be crucial pieces of evidence, and she doesn't hand them over to the police to be analysed. She holds them for herself, and she only reveals their existence when it is convenient for her to do so. There is just way too much amateur sleuthing in this book for me to make it feel even slightly realistic. I want a little bit of realism in my thrillers to make it enjoyable for me. There is just way too much amateur sleuthing in this book for me. We follow a woman who is a group therapist who has no training and no experience of conducting a murder investigation, and yet she is running the whole show here. The police have no clue what's going on, and she seems to know exactly what's going on. And there's also a very irritating side character in this book who I didn't really like at all. He made frequent reference to his premonitions that kept popping up all of the time. And there was a really awkward marriage proposal literally a day after meeting Mariana, and he proposes to her. And he's just kind of in this book as someone that Mariana can just kind of count on to tell him what's going on and just to further the plot. And I didn't like his character at all. I thought he was a really silly, unbelievable, ridiculous kind of character. Overall, the book felt a bit flat to me, and I thought the dialogue was incredibly stilted, and I didn't like the ending at all. I did think the premise sounded really intriguing, and it did start well. So I think it was a decent idea, but it was just executed poorly. It definitely lacked the magic of The Silent Patient for me. I really enjoyed that book. I read it in just one sitting. I absolutely flew through it. I couldn't put it down, and I just had to know what had happened. So for me, his second book definitely lacks the magic of his debut. But I am definitely in the minority with this one. I have seen so many glowing reviews of this book. So if you are interested, definitely don't let my opinions put you off reading it. If you have read it, I would love to know what you thought of it. I'd love to chat to you about it down in the comments below. So like I said, I rated this book 2 stars, and it is actually the most disappointing read of 2021 so far for me. And that's just because I was so highly anticipating this book because I liked his debut so much. So yeah, it was a very disappointing read for me. But I will definitely read whatever book he comes out with next. So far it has been one hit and one miss. So I am very much looking forward to seeing what his third book is, and I will definitely be reading it. So thank you so much for watching. This definitely turned into more of a rant review than a book review. Please like the video if you liked it, and if you'd like to see more of me talking about books, please do subscribe. I'll link some more of my book review videos down below just in case you'd like to check those out. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!